Hello, BookTube. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and today is Saturday, November 21st. It is early evening, and I promised you a video on the 20th, which I did film, but I just wasn't happy with it, and I didn't have time to refilm it yesterday. Today, I had a funeral. One of our church members and I was obligated to help with the music, which I did, and then I got home thinking, okay, I've still got my church clothes on. I will get this video done. And I had to take a nap. So anyway, here I am. My husband's almost home from work, so I'm going to try to get this done quickly so that I will be ready to greet him when he walks in the door and I won't be back here filming. And I just wanted to give you an update on what I've been reading recently. So my last official reading update was November 10th. I actually have done one since then, sort of, because I did a kind of a reorganization going through of my TBR shelf, my staging shelf, if you want to call it that, and I ended up showing you some of what I have finished this month and in the last 10 days, but I'm just going to quickly go over all of it. Not everything I've read this month, but the stuff I've read in the last 10 days, because I did do one on the 10th. So feel free to check out that video below if you, I will link it below, and feel free to check that out if you'd like to see what I read earlier in the month. I'm not even sure how many books I have read so far this month. I know that in the past 10 days, I have finished 12 books, and a few of them, well, at least a couple of them, I've already mentioned in that last video because I was almost done. In fact, on the evening of the 10th, I finished Sins of the Father by J.A. Jance, and I had already kind of talked about J.A. Jance books in general in that video. And then I believe later that night, it was after midnight, so it technically didn't count for that day, but I did finish it before I went to bed. It was a middle grade book, The Dead and the Gone by Beth Pfeffer, and I read this in print. I ended up just flying through it. I thought it would take me longer, but it was very good. I think I enjoyed this one more than the first book. Now I am actually almost done with book 3. I'm listening to it on CD. Our library had the first book on overdrive, so I listened to it, and maybe on CD too, but anyway, I listened to it on overdrive. I had to read this one in print, but then one of the other libraries in our county has this one on CD, so I've been listening to it in my car, and I just started the last CD today, so I am about 85% done, and I probably won't be back in my car before tomorrow, and I probably won't even be in my car much tomorrow. It's a short drive to church and back, so it'll probably still be a couple of days before I finish it. So far, it's pretty good. We're back to the main character in the first book, and the main character from this second book is now in they've sort of met up. They're together in the hometown of this the main character of the first book. It's a small town in Pennsylvania, I think. The second book takes place in New York. Anyway, it's a post-apocalyptic series set in, I don't even know, it doesn't really specify like what year it's supposed to be, but an asteroid has hit the moon, which knocks it out of orbit, and then with the moon being much closer to Earth than it should be, it causes all of these catastrophes. So that's just kind of the gist of it. I'm enjoying it. It's not my favorite, but it's pretty good. And there's one more called The Shade of the Moon. And my daughter Katie says it's not worth reading, but yet she's read and reread the whole series like at least 3 times. So anyway, I would love to finish, well, I'll definitely finish this one, and then hopefully I can finish that 4th one before the end of the year. I may not get to it this month because I still have quite a few books to read and print between now and the end of the year. But that is a series that now I can see the finish line, and I would love to finish it by the end of the year. I have finished several middle grade books, but before I get to those, since it's nonfiction November, I'll tell you about the nonfiction books that I've finished so far. I am still reading a couple of them that I'm on track to finish by the end of the month, and they are from my TBR jar. One from my TBR jar that I did finish is It's a Girl Thing by Mavis Jukes. This is very good. It's on an adolescent girl level. I mean, it's for adolescent girls, and it doesn't talk down to them, but yet it's suitable for for teenage girls of any age. It's got a lot of good information, and I really enjoyed it. And for book club, I listened to Educated by Tara Westover. We discussed this a couple of days ago at our book club, and I think everybody who read it enjoyed it, and I would definitely read a sequel. Hopefully, at some point down the line, if she decides to write another book, if there's new developments with her family and her situation, I would love to read more. I think it would be great. It was very compelling. And then before I get to the middle grade books, I'll go ahead and run through some of the other non-middle grade books that I have finished. This was a reread, and then there were none by Agatha Christie. I listened to this for our mystery book club, and I still say that this book is probably, I think, well, I haven't read all Agatha Christie's, but I've read several. This is my favorite. It's just mind-blowing. It's just really, really good. And I also listened to book 3 in the English Garden series by Wick. I think earlier in the month I listened to the second book called The Rescue. And now I have listened to this one, The Visitor. The last one is called The Pursuit, and I have it on a cassette. I've had it here at the house for years, and I just couldn't find the other two on audio until now. They've turned up on Hoopla. So rather than use a Hoopla Borrow for the last one, since I've got the cassettes and I've got a boombox to play it on, I'm going to listen to the last one on cassette. So that will hopefully be before the end of the month. Anyway, this series is very sweet. It's very old-fashioned. It is set in early 1800s England, and it's just very sweet. Very old-fashioned. That's about all I can tell you. Then I listened to Debbie Macomber's very latest book. This is called Jingle All the Way. It is very short, and it was very good. I enjoyed the story. It mostly takes place on the Amazon River in a, I hesitate to call it a cruise ship, although it is a cruise ship, just not a luxury cruise ship. And I enjoyed the story, but I will tell you, this cover and this title are very misleading. It sort of ends up, our main character ends up back at her parents' farm for a small part of the story, but the main meat of the story takes place on the Amazon River. So this is not the Amazon River, and at no time in the story did they ever ride a sleigh, I don't think, and I don't even remember there being a dog. So yeah, this is a beautiful cover, but this doesn't really represent the book, and I don't know where they got this title from. So it's a great cover, and it's a great title for a real Christmassy book, but this book wasn't that Christmassy, but it was still a good book, and I would recommend it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And then a few middle grade books. One that I've already had to return to the library. I think I showed it in my video when I was reorganizing my staging shelf, is Deepwater by Watt Key, and that's one of the Sunshine State books, and I loved it. I thought it was so good. It was so compelling, and I was afraid I wouldn't like it because I'm not a water person. I get a lot of anxiety about water, and it was about basically a dive gone wrong, and so these people have to survive out on the water, and I thought it was great. So I would definitely recommend that. I will be doing a wrap-up of all of the Sunshine State books from this year as soon as I read the last one. There's 15 total, and now I've read 14 of them, so I've got one to go, and then I will give you a whole wrap-up of all 15 of those. And back to another series that I have been reading for years, and it's on my 20 by 20 challenge, and lo and behold, the first 5 books have shown up on Hoopla on audio. I've already read the first 4, but that's okay. I was super excited to be able to listen to the 5th book, and now I've got 2 more to go. It looks like I'm going to have to read those in print. But this is the Shadow Children series by Margaret Peterson Haddix. This is a futuristic world. Well, I don't know how far in the future it's supposed to be, but it's in a future world where it's illegal to have a 3rd child due to world overpopulation. And so I have really been enjoying the series. And then I I tried to finish another middle grade series, or maybe it's a YA series, and I had these checked out on Hoopla along with a couple of others that were expiring, I've got one expiring tonight that I'm trying to finish within the next few hours. So this time, well, usually at the end of each month, whatever Hoople borrows I have left, I make sure that I use those up by the end of the month. And then I kind of have to hurry and finish those, get those done before they expire. I say hurry. I mean, you usually have 21 days for a book. But if I've checked out, 15 books from the previous month, then, it might take me 21 days or more to get all those done. So this time I started a little before the last day of October, checking out a few. So I had a few that were expiring sooner, and that included this series. It's the Descendant series by Melissa de la Cruz. Now, I own books 1 and 3. I read book 1 several years ago, and so now I have finished, I got the other 2 from the library. I finished this one, Return to the Isle of the Lost, and then I finished book 3, Rise of the Isle of the Lost. And then I started Escape to the Isle of the Lost, but some other things in my life came into play, and I was needed elsewhere, and I couldn't get this one finished. So I just, instead of renewing it, I tried that little trick of downloading it on my old phone and turn off the Wi-Fi, but that didn't work for Hoopla, and or maybe I accidentally deleted it. So because when I came back on, it said I had no titles downloaded. Anyway, I decided, because I had 2 other books expiring soon, that I better go ahead and get those done before I go back and pick this one up. Otherwise, I was going to have 3 books that I had, wasted borrows on because I didn't have them done. So the last 2 books that I had checked out that were expiring this weekend were 2 books from the Miss Julia series. I'm so excited to get back to the Miss Julia series. The next one that I needed to read was Etta May's Worst Bad Luck Day, and I finished this up last night. I think we had a football game and everything. It was the last home game, and I'm not really into football, but during the parts of the game that I didn't really know what was going on, I had my earbuds in and I was listening to it. And so then we got home. It expired at like 10:37 at night, and I only had maybe a couple of chapters left when it expired, and it was over. So I just sat and read the last couple of chapters. Katie's dog is in here making noise, so if you can hear something, he's down here at my feet. Anyway, so I got this one finished, and now I am hurriedly finishing the next one in the Miss Julia series, Miss Julia Lays Down the Law by Anne B. Ross. And this one takes place at Christmas time. So if you wanted to read a Miss Julia book around Christmas time, you could pick this one up. And I think it's better to read Miss Julia in order, but it's not absolutely necessary. And if you've never read any Miss Julia, you could pick this one up, but I wouldn't just skip around, all over the place with Miss Julia, because there are a lot of things that progress in her life. But this one, you could pick it up, and then you could go back to the beginning and start if you liked it. I was going to say one thing about this one, and now I've already forgotten what it was. I don't know. There was something at the tip of my tongue that I was going to tell you about this one. Anyway, it's really fun, and, I know what I was going to say. There's a mystery, actually a murder mystery in this one. A lot of people think when they look at this, that this is a cozy mystery series. It's really not. I would just label Miss Julia books as humor or women's fiction, light women's fiction, humorous women's fiction. This one is actually a mystery. So, if you wanted to pick this one up and read it as a mystery, you certainly could. All right, so I think that is about everything that I have finished during the past 10 days. I am also still currently reading The Black Cauldron by Lloyd Alexander. This is book 2 in the Chronicles of Prydain, and I am just at the halfway point. I'm enjoying that. I think I already mentioned my other current reads. I didn't show you the nonfiction books, but I'll show you those during my wrap-up. It's just a couple of books from my TBR jar. I still have 2 or 3 other nonfiction books to meet the nonfiction November challenges, and I hope to get to those, but I haven't started them yet. The other books in print that I would like to start next. I have a library book checked out. It's the next book in the Leap, Horn, and Chi series by Tony Hillerman. This one is book number 8, A Thief of Time. The reason I checked this one out is because of all the series on my 20 by 20 challenge, that's one of the few series that I have not read from during this 3-year period. So by reading that book, that will kind of finish that stack for me. It won't finish the series for me, but it will at least finish that list, the particular list that it's on, in that I will have made progress in all those different series on that list by the end of this 3-year period. So that's why it's important for me to pick that one up and read that now. And then also Di from Dice's 19 Hearts, who hosts the Book One Cozies Club on our Mystery Madness Goodreads group. She's trying something a little new this month for the Book One Cozies Club selection. The book is called Buried in a Book by Lucy Arlington, and she is doing a chapter by chapter read of this one. So if you want to read this with her, you can read 2 chapters a day and then get in on the discussion for every couple of chapters. So she's already started. I haven't started it yet. Hopefully by, well, I don't know, within the next couple of days, I can get started on it. I really need to get this one finished because this is an overdue library book. Well, actually, I say that. I called the library this morning and I got them to extend it even though it had already been renewed twice. And so I did get it extended, but I really do have to finish that ASAP. This is my own book, so there's not as great of a rush on it, but it is a series that's been on my TBR for a while, and I would like to read it, even though I've got a couple of other cozy mysteries that I really need to read by the end of the year. I figured just a couple of chapters a day here and there, I could probably squeeze it in. So I want to be supportive of the Book One Cozies Club, and this is a book on my TBR, so I may as well go ahead and try to give it a read. And that's about it for what I've been reading recently, what I've finished recently, and what I'm currently reading. So I hope to see you soon. I've been promising a book haul, and I haven't gotten it done yet. I will be pretty busy this week. It's Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving holiday and all of that, and I may not get another video done until after Thanksgiving, but meanwhile, know that I am thinking about you, and be sure you comment to this video and let's chat about any of the books, even if it's something I didn't mention here. If you'd like to share with me what you're reading this holiday week or weekend or whatever, I'd love to chat with you in the comments. So for now, that's all I have for this video. I hope you are having a great day. Read a good book. Happy Thanksgiving, and God bless you.